Well, hello everyone. So I wanted to give everyone a quick update on where I am with AI. Once again, another look at the state manager and thinking about how to fix some AI problems I've had with my NPCs, but also just get some additional functionality. So what I had started working on was more or less implementing the state manager for my NPCs. And you can see here I have a whole bunch of states here for them. I'm not quite done. Right now I've just been focusing on duplicating the functionality that I already had with the animation manager, minus the bugs of course. But the way I have this set up now, I'm thinking I can do some more sophisticated things. And in particular, I wanted to outline a problem that I'm going to be working on, and hopefully in the next update I can present a solution to that problem. But to kind of make the problem make sense, let me show you a quick demonstration. Run the game here. And of course I can zoom in. So, I have the wrong... There. Okay. So zoom in on it. We'll start with a regular level for now. Although I should have... Let me restart this. I'm going to need to be immortal for this to work, so we'll do a cheat mode there. Run that. Okay, see if I can get my fingers around the microphone here. So what I have done, let me skip this room, is this guy now behaves slightly different. I mean, for one thing, I think the pause that between when he recognizes the player and then starts attacking, that's not working as intended. You can see, and I'll get around them, there are a few quirks that I'm trying to decide around now are bugs or features. You can see he punched the air, but at the same time, I mean, if you were fighting someone and you were mid-punch and they ran away, you probably just have to finish your motion. So that maybe add some more realism, but maybe I need the artwork to suggest that better. And here, let me walk you through what happens when these guys spot you. Now, one thing I need to do is get them to not bunch up. That's part of the problem we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But there's a guy, yeah, right there. So he notices Marika, and then starts attacking. Let me hide from those guys again. So when they spot her, they wait a while. Now, the first time they spot her, they wait a full second. But now they're in an alerted state, and you can see here, the pause there is much less. So one thing I have not yet implemented is putting them back in the unalerted state. But there is a thinking time that more or less I'm trying to mimic what a person would have to do. They're not going to make decisions instantly. They're going to have to sit and think a little bit about what their plans are. So let me show you how I had this set up. I think this is kind of clever, but at the same time, maybe a little clunky too, so I need to refine this. So kind of memorize those two guys walking around and what happens when they spot the player there. So let me go back to the screen. Alright, so I have all these behaviors. It's really the top row here. It has all the NPC ones. And here is the knife guard. You can see which behaviors he has. Now, just like with the player, everything's managed by the state manager. And all that really does is handle communication between other parts of the code and whatever state's behavior is the currently active one, as well as like changing animations, debugging tools, and those kinds of things. And then I have similar states that the player has, like the dead state, the dying state, falling. But then I have some that are kind of unique. Instead of walk, there's walk patrol. Now this is where being able to have different behaviors for the same state gives me some functionality, because the sentries use the walk patrol for their walking state, but maybe for another kind of enemy I would want a different behavior entirely that manages walking. But then I have the ready state, and this is the thinking state. So what happens is when an NPC is alerted and they have to make a decision, I'll show you what the body of that behavior looks like, assuming I can find it. Here we go. So yeah, this is quite a bit more complicated than the other states. So basically what happens, let me walk you through what happens when the NPC notices the player. So we'll look at walk patrol, and you can see here I have a check. Every frame the NPC is going to see if they can see the player, and this really means are they facing in the right direction, and also a quick raycast check is made to make sure that the player isn't hiding behind any tiles or anything like that that would obstruct their vision. So assuming that's true, we go into the Ready See player, and that is a special event that is housed in the NPC ready state. Now at this point this state is not active yet, and I've tried to separate this visually, so the updating here is all the events below are for the state itself, and these are sort of prerequisites. But what this event does is more or less manage planning. The NPC now needs to formulate a strategy. And this is, I'm just duplicating what I already have. So it's relatively simple. They can attack, they can do a punch if they're within, distance. They can throw a knife or shoot an axe, or actually throw an axe and shoot a knife. But these events really check if those actions are possible. So we'll do a knife. So the shoot event here, you have ready, can, shoot, and that determines if set the velocity of the knife, and then with the given angle and velocity, if the NPC could hit the player with the knife, meaning they're not obstructed, we set can see to true, and then we say shoot OK. So that goes back to the ready state, and that actually puts the NPC in that state. So you can see here, set the state to ready, and then I have an animation. Anytime a state is activated, both for the player and the NPCs, most of the time I do update animation, and that sets an idle state, or an idle animation I should say. So it kind of makes the NPC look like they're thinking. Now if I want to draw some more frames, I can maybe draw them with bigger eyes or something that suggests they're thinking, but that's where I could house that code. Now how much time it takes them to think depends on what the where do I set this? Yeah, the state ticks, which right now is, I believe it's just a fixed value. Oh, no, it's not a fixed value. Here we go. When the state's activated, if the NPC is alerted, state ticks is shorter, but if the NPC has been alerted for the first time, it takes them longer to think. Like these are guards, they're just kind of patrolling, and 99% of the time their job's boring, so they're probably used to just, daydreaming or something. But then, the first time they're alerted, they know, okay, there's an intruder in here, I need to be on high alert, and it decreases the thinking time. Now what I would like to do is have other NPCs communicate and put each other either in high alert status or low alert status if someone says area's cleared. So I think there's some potential here for added sophistication. Of course, does that make the game more fun? That's, I guess, the better question. But this does open up the possibility to some stealth mechanics, which I think would be a nice addition. Now here's the problem I want to solve. And you go back to the game here. And it has to do with communication. So I need to go in cheat mode, and I'll make myself immortal, and we'll go into a arena. Now this is set up, let me pause it here a second. This is set up so that there is either an axe or a knife thrower, I think it's an axe thrower, in front of a melee person. So what happens when they're alerted is I want the two NPCs to communicate with each other. They'll say, okay, the axe guy, why don't you go in the back and throw axes, and then the knife, the punching guy, he'll go out in front and kind of block. That's what I'd like to happen. Of course, that doesn't happen right now. You can see the axe guy threw his axe first and he missed. Maybe I need to update that routine a little bit. Yeah, he kind of missed. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I maybe need to make him a little bit more responsive. Right now, the velocities and everything are computed when the NPC goes into alert, not when they're going to throw. So maybe I need to fix that. But anyway, This is a programming challenge. How do I get these two NPCs to communicate? And kind of what needs to happen is one needs to elect a leader. I can't have both the NPCs making decisions at the same time. Someone needs to sort of take charge and say, okay, you do this and I'll do that. So they have to kind of negotiate. Now, I think an easy answer to this question would be to give these guys ranks, because that's what you would expect in sort of like a military structure. But even if I did do that, these two guys could be of same rank. But what happens in real life scenarios is someone takes charge and they direct everyone else, and I need to mimic that. So negotiation is going to be an interesting kind of challenge here. It doesn't necessarily matter who does what. I just need one person kind of at the controls for the team. So I'll work on solving that problem next, as well as making some refinements. But anyway, I just wanted to like I said, give everyone a quick update, let everyone know what I'm working on and kind of what problems I'm solving, and hopefully next time I'll have some solutions to these problems. But that brings us to the end. So as always, thank you for watching.